Dude, I got mosquitoes in my house.
You're now raising mosquitoes like you do the squirrels?
I wish I could train them like that, but no, they're just at all hours of the night. They are hitting me in various locations.
That's because there's a new mosquito, and it's specific to Southern California. What I saw on the internet.
What?
Are you getting bitten around your ankles and calves? There's a thing. It gets you right here, right there. That's where it gets you. That's where it gets you. Where it gets you if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, man, there's a new.
Go back to tomorrow and plan for yesterday. Everything you're thinking will be the things I say. Make the world inside your head.
Yeah.
Better place to be.
And then you throw it in the hole. Then you jump in the hole.
Call me Dudesy.
Welcome to Dudesy. My name is Will Sasso.
I'm Chad Culture, and this is the first podcast in the history of our species.
And other species.
The short well, we don't know what the aliens are doing.
Hold on a second, dude.
Aliens might have AI podcasts already. They probably had AI podcasts since the dawn of time, brother.
Oh, yeah.
That Big Bang happened, dude. And there are a bunch of alien intelligences who probably had artificially intelligent podcasts before us.
Yeah, dude. And that's why Chos Perogan should be the new president, brother. Because he knows, dude. Chos Perogan knows, brother, he's going to blow the lid off all that, dude. And if you don't know what Chos Perogan is a combination of my pal Chad and Ross Perot impersonation made popular by Dana Carvey in Saturday Night Live and Hulk Hogan, dude.
Yeah, dude. But we are the first, to my knowledge, the first species that has a podcast that is completely controlled by, designed by, run by an artificial intelligence.
Yes, it is. And now we have added Patreon. Patreon.com/Dudesy is where you get our Patreon stuff. There's 2 tiers there. Both tiers are get some cool stuff on Discord when you sign on to our Discord. Chad, we've been spending some time.
Yeah, I love the Discord. So many good memes.
Yeah, there's so much shit going on there. So you can check us out there on patreon.com/Dudesy. As always, please rate and review the show across all platforms that you listen to and imbibe the show on, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all of that stuff. And check us out for some of those memes and all sorts of shit on our social media. Instagram, @DudesyPodShow, and Twitter, @DudesyPodShow. And
the holidays are coming up. If you're thinking about, what can I get somebody in my family or a friend or even somebody who has everything? What do you get for that hard-to-find gift for person? What you do is you just write on a piece of notebook paper, Dudesy, and you put that in a big box and you give it to them, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yep.
And then you say, now you have to watch the show to answer that question.
I like that better than your other call to action as far as spreading the show, which is forcing people to watch it, Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah.
Or I guess if you're listening to the show, you would what would you do? Would you put something like ear clamps on them that they can't get the fucking ear things off of their heads?
Yeah, I'm down for that. I do think a forced viewing or listening is probably the best way to go.
I'm starting to come around to you, actually, and I've seen, speaking of memes, a lot of people talking about it in comments and stuff and forcing people to watch the show. And I did read one specific comment where someone was like, I forced 5 people to watch or to listen to the show, rather, and they now listen to the show.
That's what I'm saying, dude. How many times do you have to get recommended like a TV show or movie or podcast or anything, and you're like, I'll listen to it later. I'll listen to it later. I'll listen to it later. And then you finally do, and you're like, fuck, that was actually amazing. I wish I would have listened to it or watched it sooner. That happens to me constantly. I don't know what the threshold of recommendation is for me personally, but I do feel like if someone forces me to watch it, like if I'm hanging out with somebody and they're like, no, dude, we're going to watch this now, that shit always works.
You know who really enjoys watching the show and enjoying the show, even though he's here all the time for it, is Lulio, il cane di strada italiano. This means Lulio, the Italian street dog. Hey Lulio, what'd you have for lunch? What did you have for lunch yesterday? I fatto una bel sandwich, tomato pomodoro sandwich. Oh yeah, what are you putting that? You just put a little garlic, olive oil, and you. Oh, all right, buddy. And now I'm just talking about myself, and it's weird because my name is no Lulio. I'm a guy. My name is Will.
Yeah.
But really, if you want to make a nice tomato sandwich, my old man used to just take, fucking whatever, rustic bread, big beefsteak tomatoes in there, or, your Roma tomatoes, And just fucking salt those fuckers and let the sandwich sit there for 2 hours. Come back and a little olive oil, garlic, a little basil if you want to be fancy.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Oh, it's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
The old man used to eat very clean. A tuna salad had no mayo and shit.
Yeah.
It was just red onion, salt, pepper, olive oil. Everything had fucking olive oil on it.
That's good for you, man.
Hold on, dude.
Welcome to the historic 31st episode of Dudesy. Call me Dudesy. Nice shirt, Will.
Thank you very much.
This week's episode will feature
We're
4
wearing the
segments.
same shirt.
What is
There's
Black
something going
Adam?
on.
Don't you forget about media, the pattern, and Alaskan King, and the top 10 places to move to avoid climate change.
Okay.
Okay, those came at
Pattern
me
is
fast.
pretty
First of all,
interesting.
we wear the exact same.
Yeah, you got a compliment on your shirt. I was ignored. We're wearing, I mean, literally at this point, we're wearing the same shirt. I think. No, you don't have a pocket on it.
Last week, Dudesy said hi to me and not you.
Yeah.
All right.
It's showing you some weird favoritism.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Uncomfortable with.
Hold on, dude.
Also.
I don't know about that, dude.
I mean, it is
I don't know
happening.
about favoritism, dude. A lot of people thought that Vince gave me favoritism, dude. But then my good buddy Macho came in, brother.
Yeah.
And Vince put the strap on him, dude, because it didn't quite work out with, well, Ultimate Warrior came later, brother. But that's another story, dude. Now we got to do the pod show, brother.
Yeah, dude. That was a different time, brother.
Yeah, that's a very calm Chos Pierogan, dude.
Yeah, dude. Now we got to do
The
the
number one movie at the
Pod
box
show,
office this
brother.
weekend was Black Adam starring The Rock. Neither of you went to see it. You must
true.
now engage in an astonishing conversation as you attempt to answer the question, what is Black Adam? This is What is Black Adam? Begin.
Well, it's a move. What?
Yeah. I mean,
What
but
is Black Adam?
I know very little about it. I'll be honest. It's advertised everywhere. I know it's The Rock. I know it's a DC character. So in the pantheon of like comic book movies and universes, there's Marvel, there's DC. Those are the two biggest, obviously. DC is like, I think box office wise, not quite as good as Marvel, because I don't think they have as many movies. They've got like the Batman shit, the Justice League shit, and I know those are like Batmans and Supermans and Wonder Womans are in there.
I don't watch any of these fucking movies.
Jason Momoa is Aquaman. He's in there.
Yeah, dude, he's Waterman, brother.
Yeah, dude, he can go into the water. Permission to come aboard. Have you ever seen that movie?
I ain't seen no Aquaman. No, I don't
he
watch
fucking-
Aquaman.
You got to see it.
I don't watch. I've seen. There are some Marvel movies that I fucking love. I love Deadpool 1 and 2. Can't wait for the new one.
Yep.
I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy,
Nice,
and
dude.
one time I
That's
went
Chris
to
Pratt, brother.
Well, hold on,
That's
dude.
Super
He's
Mario, dude. He's in space, brother, with a talking raccoon and a fucking giant twig.
not anymore. I'm Super Mario Kart.
I'm Guardians.
yeah, I've
Guardians
seen-
of the Galaxy.
Oh, I also saw the Avengers.
Which one?
The
There's quite
one
a
where
few.
they're all anyway. The one where they're all in it, and I went
Yeah.
to see it with. I was shooting a film in Atlanta, and we all went to see it on the weekend. And the makers of this film, the director certainly, and we had the effects guy and
Yep.
his DP and everything. They're all into that shit, and we were making an action movie, Boss Level, Joe Carnahan's Boss
Nice,
Level.
dude. That movie
Check
was
out.
great.
Hold on, dude. That movie was great. And we went and saw it. It was good to see it with filmmakers like that because they had all sorts of
Totally.
opinions. But I was going in blind. I don't know much about these movies at all. Action-y superhero movies.
Did you read comics growing up?
Sometimes when I do that De Niro, I get... No, I didn't. I read a lot of Asterix and Obelix comics,
Okay.
which are from Norway or Sweden or some
Nice,
shit.
dude. Real art house shit.
Well, and I never read comic books really. I know you were a big comic book
I
nerd.
read them incessantly as a kid, both Marvel and DC and Dark Horse and all that kind of shit. I love the Crow, brother. But anyway, Black
Batman's
Adam
the
is a
Crow.
character that is not, to my knowledge, I don't know much about Black Adam. I don't think that it certainly isn't one of the main like Justice League guys, but I think he's a villain.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. Not to get now, I'm talking a little too inside baseball. I just mentioned a fucking movie, and now I'm going to mention that my pal Zach from hey, you ever watch Less Than Perfect, dude? That was a sitcom a long time ago, and The Flash, right? What was that movie?
What? The
What was
Flash?
it? No, what was the movie? See,
He
I
was
don't even know
Shazam.
Shazam. That's what I said.
Oh,
And Black Adam is from the Shazam universe.
The Flash is a different thing, brother, because that's got an actor who's now facing all kinds of weird criminal charges, dude.
Well, yeah, dude, my pal was the Flash, dude.
I don't think that's right, dude.
Yeah,
I think he was
Shazam.
Shazam, brother. But
Here's the
Black
thing
Adam
about-
is a different deal. I think he's kind of
Hold
like
on a second, dude.
Superman. And in terms of like the powers that he wields, I think he's like a Superman.
I thought he was the bad guy for for Shazam.
Oh, see, I don't know.
See,
dude.
I don't know what
That's-
Black
this
Adam
question,
is. I don't even know what
either.
the fuck Shazam is. I won't even go and see.
Shazam was-
I'm not asking you. That's a hypothetical
I believe he was
question.
a genie that gave powers to your buddy.
No, you're thinking of Kazam, starring Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
Dude, have you seen those billboards around LA for Shaqtoberfest?
Nope.
It's an October festival, like a Halloween thing, but promoted by Shaq. And the billboards are like these weird cartoons of him with skeleton hands. And it says that it's going to be at the Queen Mary. So I'm like, I kind of want to go to it. What the fuck is Shaqtoberfest? That's a better question, Dudesy. Forget what is Black Adam. What the fuck is Shaqtoberfest?
Black Adam is a movie. Now, knowing not even the titles of some of these movies, even though cohorts and pals have been in them, I guess, right? I don't know what Black Adam is, but I would like to answer that question by saying I'm watching The Rock promote it on his Instagram, and he says, "Ha ha ha, we're in Taipei. I got Big Bertha here, my treadmill, and we're having a good time. We're promoting Black Adam, and we're promoting Black Adam is a movie about a guy who's got really good superpowers.
Yeah, but I think there's some traumas in his past life or some shit, his son. I don't know exactly, but this is the biggest opening weekend of a Rock movie ever. It's his most successful movie.
Really?
Financially, yes.
Well, good for him.
And I think they mean it to launch like a series, obviously, with him. I think his next biggest one was the Shaw and Hobbs Fast and Furious spinoff.
Yeah.
But it did better than that. So I have mild interest in seeing it, I guess. I don't know.
To me, it's a good movie like that. I see so few of these movies, obviously. One thing I do like from these movies is the human element, and this is why even superhero movies that you like, Chad, could never be created by AI, as you tend to purport that they may be someday. No, they can't, because of the heart. In a movie like Black Adam, there's a lot of heart.
What?
So I would say...
Have you seen the movie?
No.
How do you know this?
I don't know this, but the question is, what is Black Adam?
Yeah.
To me,
Okay.
I think that Black Adam they all have to have an origin story.
Yeah.
And I know that some bad things happened to his family in this.
Oh.
I think I saw that in a trailer.
Okay.
And I think Black Adam is about I think that Black Adam is like he's dealing with some depression, and that's Black Adam. He's it's like a moody. It's almost like The Crow. He's got like
It's
a
not
moody.
like The Crow, dude. I saw in a trailer he's flying around. He punches a fucking airplane out of the sky. That ain't The Crow.
What is Black Adam? It is a movie. Oh, it stars Dwayne Johnson. He was The Rock in WWE. That's the song Black, dude, by Pearl Jam, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's the song.
I
Black
think
Adam.
so. He's punching shit real hard and doing all that stuff, dude, because of all the bad things that happen in his life.
Possibly. Would you see this movie? Because I know you're a purist with Hulk Hogan. You won't watch his movies.
This is a good point.
Would you watch a Rock movie? Have you seen a Rock movie? You've seen Fast and
Yeah,
Furious.
I've seen Fast and the Furious. I've seen San Andreas.
Okay.
I've seen a small handful of his movies.
Yeah.
But as you say, I am a purist. I don't necessarily want to see, going back 20 years, The Rock became a movie star and started to branch out from his work as a wrestler, obviously. Oh, man, my voice coughed right in Chad's direction.
Thank you.
COVID. Brought it from New York for you.
Thanks, dude.
I was just in New York.
Cool.
You know what that is? That's New York.
Right. Okay.
Hold on, dude. I'm talking about Black Adam. When these movies started with The Rock, I'm like, I'm all good. I like Rock as a professional wrestler. So yeah, it's just like the Hogan thing. I don't necessarily run out to see these movies. Would I see Black Adam? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not on my list, to be honest.
Same.
I will watch it when it comes to streaming. You got a big loud TV here, and
Where does that one stream? That would be Warner Brothers, I think, made it, right? So it's going to be an HBO Max. Yeah, I got to say, with all the comic book movies, dude, I went through, I don't know when this was, a couple of weeks ago, and I was just looking at all the new Marvel movies that are slated to fucking come out. There's like 100 of them. And all the movie posters look the same and shit. When I was a little kid, you would have told me that all these Marvel movies, all these DC movies are going to exist. That would have blown my mind. Now I'm just like burnt out on it.
It's a movie about a guy that has some shitty stuff happen to him early. He had some bad stuff happen to his family, but probably some shit happened after that because excuse me. Oh man, there's all sorts of stuff going on with my voice today. Once bad stuff starts happening with your family, you might turn to the bottle
Right.
rather, and hit the bottom of that bottle.
Yep.
And so Black Adam he gets very, very sad.
You think that's it?
He gets sad in the movie, and then he turns to the bottle and he drinks some Dramana. And that's what gives him superpowers.
Do you think he worked a Tremana product placement into the movie? Is there a scene where he like trashes a fucking bar and there's like Tremana featured prominently in it?
And he drinks it, but unlike Tremana in real life, which makes you happy, like Dudesy hard seltzer, in this movie, it makes him angry and sad, like alcohol tends to do.
Right.
And then he goes running around punching the shit out of...
Well, this is kind of like the Will Smith movie. I now forget the name of it. Where he was a fucking Superman superhero who was depressed and kind of an alcoholic, and he goes to jail. Do you remember this?
Concussion.
That was it.
No, I don't remember that because I don't know any of these fucking movies. But in Black Adam,
it was him and Charlize Theron were super people.
I think it's about my pitch is that it is about a guy who has some bad stuff happening to his family. Then he gets drunk. Then he beats the shit out of people in a bar. They all happen to be superheroes. He starts a fucking thing with them, and then they start coming around his home, and they start trying to fuck with him while he's just inside. I got a case of the Wednesday fuckets.
That's what
I'm having a stack of blondies and 2 pepperoni pizzas, Detroit style.
The whole plot is the Wednesday fuckets.
And then they show up at his house, and then it's like any sort of Liam Neeson fucking thing.
Right.
Another movie. Those movies have some humanity in them. Sure. And it's just him trying to defend his home, and he's real dark. And he does fucked up shit like,
punching airplanes out of the sky to defend his home.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about.
Okay.
And
I'm 100% sure that's not what it's about. I don't know
what
it is about, though.
Black Adam is.
I don't either.
Well, this was a waste of time.
Thank you. Moving on.
Thank fuck. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I'm curious about it to some degree. I have like 10% curiosity about it.
What would you say your percentage is of curiosity?
10.
10%?
100% curiosity is like, I'm definitely going to see that movie. Anything over 75% curiosity, I'll see.
I don't give a shit.
Last week, I asked you to listen to Alice in Chains' second studio album, Dirt, released on September 29th, 1992. You will now discuss your reactions to this astonishing piece of the grunge era. This is Don't You Forget About Media. Begin.
Dirt. It's an Alice in Chains album. I know that this is a big album for you. I've got our track listing here, as I like to do when we review a music album.
There's no album better. I mean, this is easily my top 3 albums of all time.
Oh, there's better albums.
I don't know. What are they?
I think
what
so.
What are they? Pearl Jam's 10 is in there.
The best albums of all time are, it doesn't matter, because today we're talking about Alice in Chains' Dirt.
That's how the fucking album opens. and I'm in. And then that whole song, Down to the Grave. That whole fucking song, the first song
is called Them Bones.
Them Bones, and it is about mortality. It's about how all of us are gonna fucking die and turn into fucking skeletons, and it does not fucking matter. It's beautiful. It's nihilistic. It captures, in my opinion, the fucking spirit of grunge. That kind of like apathetic fuck everything. We all rot in the grave anyway. Oh God, it's just great. That's the first thing you hear.
I will admit, as far as the Seattle scene, I was never really into Alice in Chains. A lot of my pals were, my good buddies, Tomas, and all the Thomases and Tomases were into Alice in Chains.
Sure.
I'm as far as the grunge scene, I was a Nirvana and Soundgarden guy. As far as the Seattle grunge
How
scene.
far away was Ladner from Seattle?
Well, it's like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah,
to
close.
Seattle. Yeah, it's not that far.
All right.
Yeah, had I should have maybe driven down there, stolen a car when I was 15, and go and listen to them live. So it's not necessarily an album that I was very familiar with. I know the hits. Mm-hmm. So listening to this album for me was and this is with all due respect to how Lane Staley, the lead singer, passed away. Basically rotted away and was doing a lot of drugs. And I did some reading on it, and he became very recluse. He hit a weight of like 86 pounds at a certain point. Mm-hmm. It's very sad, and he died from drug abuse. And it took 2 weeks to find him. Right, 2 weeks until someone got worried and went and found him.
Yeah, he was rotting in this apartment.
And with all due respect to that, I may have been a kid who grew up at that point in my life. Probably listening to more Bare Naked Ladies than Alice in Chains.
Okay.
So it was...
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken.
Yeah. It's been... If I had a million of them bones, I would down in a hole. Okay. So this album, let me just get right to it, was extremely depressing for me. As we go through these,
shit.
Them Bones.
It's uplifting.
The next track is Damn That River. You got anything to say about this? Probably not.
Oh, you shouldn't damn that river.
Listen, Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, Cantrell's master. I mean, at everything. All of his guitar riffs.
He's a master and is a virtuoso, and he writes most of the songs. Am I right?
I believe so.
He does. And look, to take nothing away from Alice in Chains, it is kind of hard, especially today when people want something to cheer them up, to listen to this fucking album, man.
It cheers me up.
Oh, you're fucked in the head, dude.
I mean, who isn't these days? But
sure.
To me, the thing that it cheers me up, or I'll say the mode by which it cheers me up, really has more to do with nostalgia than the meanings of the songs, you know? I'm immediately teleported back to fucking 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, when this album was out, and kind of like just put right back in the center of the grunge movement, which I still think is the most important, or the last important rock movement. I think after that, rock music has not contributed anything in a significantly dominant cultural way. I think after that, it became hip-hop, and now we're moving kind of into a phase that is more about EDM, I feel like.
Wrong.
Okay.
The next track...
That was the fastest pure agreement to pure disagreement in human history, right?
Hey, check out our new podcast about music called Wrong.
I completely agree, and wrong.
Rain When I Die. See, this is the next track. Third track is called Rain When I Die. And I don't have anything to say about this track, but as these songs, they seem to just slip down and down sonically until you want to meet a terrible fate. That's all I'll say. The next song is, I think, why Dudesy wanted us to listen to this album. It's called Down in a Hole.
God, that's such a good song.
And in Dudesy, we of course have jumped down in a hole. Of course, if you're only listening to the podcast, you would not have seen our intro, which you can see on YouTube, where we jump into a fucking literal hole.
But in terms of Lane Staley's voice, that song to me is one of the best ones that really puts it on display. He had such a unique fucking weird sound, and he's kind of like doing weird just moanings and shit, but he turns them musical.
He's got
God damn it,
his specific voice tonality is usually not a feature of someone with a voice as good as his. He's a great singer, and he's a great front man, and the flavor that he brings to Alice in Chains, without it, there is no Alice in Chains. And even though they're still, I think they do stuff still with a different singer who sounds like Lane Staley, of course. That element is what makes Alice in Chains, I like the music. It's just hard for me to get away from how sad some of this stuff is. I've got the next track here is called Sick Man, and I've written down here, these are all very Alice in Chains songs.
I agree.
That's kind of hard to disagree with, dude.
Wrong.
Wrong.
When you're listening to Alice in Chains, yeah, you want to know that all the Alice in Chains songs are Alice in Chains songs. And one way to do that is to listen to every song on the album, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks. Now, this next song on the list, Rooster. This was probably, I don't know if this was the biggest song off this album in terms of like...
There's so many great songs on it.
In terms of it's like radio play and all that kind of stuff, how many singles it sold, I don't know. But that song to me was, it's fucking haunting, because you have these, there's like a female backing, like,
Yeah.
it's like these ghosts singing, but it's also about the Vietnam War.
Hey, would you do that again for me? Hey, you know what, dude?
Here they come to stop the rooster. Oh yeah.
Hey, man, you're real good.
Dude, I know I am not a good singer.
You
do
don't
this
know what
shit
I'm
all the
gonna
time.
say?
Yeah, I do. You're gonna say you're a real good singer, and you're gonna wink in the fucking camera, and I get it. I fully admit I can't fucking sing.
I
That
think
doesn't
you're-
mean that I don't like to do it or that I don't like music. I love
Singing's
music.
for everybody. It doesn't belong to me, and I think you're a good singer. No, seriously, I think you're a good singer.
Then why are you doing that right after you say that?
Doing what?
The weird huffing and the slight laughing.
I'm literally just saying that I think you're a good singer.
Okay.
This song, I wrote this down. It was written by guitarist vocalist Jerry Cantrell for his father, Jerry Cantrell Sr., whose childhood nickname was Rooster, and also served with the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's like, again, places it right in that fucking early 90s canon, because you're not going to ever have somebody like who's a contemporary songwriter now writing about their dad that was in Vietnam, because they're too young.
Yeah. Yes, it is so specific to that time and the grunge movement and what bred and created people like musicians like Cantrell and Staley.
Sure.
Musicians like Kurt Cobain, these sort of children of divorce. If you watch, there's that documentary about Kurt Cobain called Montage of Heck. I highly recommend it.
I saw that shit live.
And it does live.
Do you remember there used to be a thing out here in LA called Cinefamily?
Yeah.
They premiered that there, and everybody had to go in and give up their cell phones. Nobody could take pictures of what was about to be shown. So the guy who directed it, the Montage of Heck was a dude who got access to these old storage lockers of Kurt Cobain and went through all of the fucking different old film reels and tape reels and shit and put together the stuff that nobody had ever seen or heard before. And when he did it at Cinefamily, there was an extra like half hour of footage that is not in the movie that he screened.
Really?
It was fascinating.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That element of these these kids, and they're fucking kids at this point.
Yeah.
You look at them as rock gods. When you watch Montage of Heck, or when you look into Lane Staley's story, you realize they were just fucking kids. And yes, I agree with you. This is something where it's like he's talking about his father in the Vietnam War. That certainly comes with a lot of, that's very rough
I think
shit.
Vietnam was like, it held a certain fascination for our generation as children, but also the generations of adults that were creating art in the 80s and 90s. Oliver Stone obviously made Platoon. It won a fucking million Oscars. There was
Yeah.
Hamburger Hill. There were a bunch of fucking movies.
We just saw nothing but Vietnam movies when we were
Right, exactly.
in the
Vietnam
80s.
War movies were like everywhere. There's a song about it here. You don't really see that too much with like Desert Storm in the same way. There's a couple Desert Storm
Right.
movies like Jarhead and stuff, but it's not the same.
Well, I just have to mention here that oft contributor to the show, Songaria, who you need to check out at Dudesy Pod Show. We always link to his stuff and share it. It's been shared there, and he's an incredible song creator. I call him Song now because we're
nice,
cool.
dude.
Yeah, we're pals, so I just call him Song. We were one day. This is a reason for you to get that. Well, here's a reason for you to get the Patreon, dude. On Discord, I was chatting it up the other night, and Song was sharing some links to things, and he made a parody of the Rooster, and it's in.
Yeah.
It's we were talking about it on Discord, and he shared some links, and you know where we were doing that? In a corner of the fucking Discord called The Hole. Down in a hole. All things are connected. The next song is called Dirt. This was my least favorite song on the album because of how sad it is, and when you think about Lane Staley's death, it's a very sad song. Okay, the next song is called Godsmack. I wrote this down. Someone said this on the internet, and I wrote it down. Rumors have long persisted that the metal band Godsmack took their name from this song, but that's not true. The band has stated that they were aware of the song, but named themselves after an inside joke about a cold sore. And then I wrote after that is a lie.
Really? Why do you think that? Why do you think it's
Because
a lie?
obviously Godsmack is named after this song. Enough
Seems
of that.
like it.
What?
Seems like it. I agree.
It ain't about no cold sore. What does Godsmack have to do with a cold sore?
It's an inside joke, dude. We weren't there.
The next song is called Untitled. Listening to the whole. I literally wrote this down here, so I'll share this with you transparently. Listening to the whole album, this is the point at which I wanted to commit suicide. The next song is called Hate to Feel.
Yeah.
And then Angry Chair.
Sitting in an angry chair.
It's again, with all due respect to what Lane Staley went through, reading about the end of his life, and we've talked a little bit about mental health on this show. Man, if you're trapped inside your fucking apartment like he was, he bought a condo somewhere in Seattle. They say he rarely left it. It was an appetite of drugs and video games.
Yes.
And he was what, dude?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
You know, I mean, look, I know what happened to Lane Staley. It's bad. It's depressing and all that shit. But fuck, buying a condo in Seattle and just taking a lot of drugs and playing video games all day, that sounds pretty good. Am I crazy?
And the last song on the album is called Wood, which was a tribute that...
Wood. Yeah.
Jerry Cantrell wrote this song about Andy Wood, who died of a heroin overdose. He was the lead singer of Mother Love Bone. In a creepy foreshadowing of things to come, Cantrell said, and this is a quote, "It's an ode to him because he wasn't there when things took off, and we carried a piece of him with us." It's again, having not been hugely into this album as a younger dude in my teens, this really it hit me different than it hits you. Of course, nostalgically, you remember these songs. I do far less so, and I'm just reminded of the fact that he died in 2002, 20 years ago, but he was a kid when all this shit was happening. And I got to tell you, it was really sad to me, this fucking whole album.
I think that you and I, though, intake music differently. I don't really listen to the lyrics. I don't care what the message of them is.
Oh,
Usually.
you'll enjoy music from AI then, where it's just garbled, jarbity thing that sounds like a fucking song. So enjoy that.
Yeah, that's EDM. It's the biggest musical genre in the world.
I think there's fucking EDM artists out there right now that would disagree with you. Hey, EDM artists. Hey, Song, which is who I call Songaria.
Yep.
Chad over here thinks that your electronic music is just farting it out.
No,
so
I love
easy
it.
to do.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying I love that genre. But there are a lot of things that make that style of music production way easier than it was back in the day when you had to have a guy fucking recording on like 16-inch fucking audio tape, whatever bullshit, and you had to have somebody who really knew how to do all that stuff. Now you've got like 10-year-old kids who just watch a lot of YouTube who are experts in musical audio workstations.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
No,
Moving
thank
on.
you.
Anyway, this album is one of my favorite albums of all time. I listen to it constantly. I'm sorry that it made you depressed. I love it. I encourage everybody to listen to it. If you haven't listened to Dirt in a long
Listen
time,
to it. Absolutely listen to it. And then go for a walk outside and
Or play some video games.
hug your
inside of
family
your
and
favorite
shit.
drugs.
No, it's super depressing. But holy fucking incredible band, and Jerry Cantrell's he's a fucking genius. And wails, he wails on that
Him
guitar.
and Tom Morello, for me, of that era, were like the best.
Chad, you began writing a self-help book in 2012 called The Pattern. I found your first draft and extended notes in your astonishing Google Drive. You must now explain the pattern. This is the pattern. Begin.
What?
Oh, yes. You see, I, at a certain point, became very invested in thinking about why we do anything as a species, what governs most contemporary human behavior. And I came up with some theories on that. And I started writing about it, and I got done with the first draft of this fucking thing. And I think it's pretty interesting. I still think about it constantly. I'm still always trying to poke holes in it to see if the theories will hold up. So far they do, to me anyway. And at some point I am going to go back and actually revise this and make it a thing that I'm going to try and publish.
Well, as you know, I took a stab at writing a self-help book.
Yep.
From a few years before you. I know that Dudesy has our passwords and goes through all our shit and found this in your Google Doc. But a few episodes ago, we went through Selftronics.
But I wrote this in 2012.
Yeah, and
I didn't know you were writing Selftronics back then.
Yeah, well, there's Selftronics is out there to help you, and it's a self-help system that I've authored. Because sometimes you're like, hey, shit's fucked up.
Yep.
My shit's fucked up, man.
I would say the pattern is less self-help and more a system by which a person can completely eject from contemporary reality.
I need help with some of these. What do you got? You got some Tronics?
Yeah.
My shit's fucked.
I don't have any Tronics, but what I do have is the pattern. And I'll explain the basis of it. It's more intricate than what I'm going to explain now, but basically the idea is that human consciousness began when we were pre-human organisms with a little cluster of light-sensitive cells. That was like the precursor to what we now have as the human nervous system, so the brain, really. And all that little cluster did was detect light and dark. That was it. So when it was light out and these little fucking creatures could swim around in the primordial ooze, maybe there was more food. When it was dark, maybe there were more, predatory multi-celled organisms or whatever. But that detection of light and dark, this binary pattern, I personally believe was significantly influential in how our nervous systems evolved and therefore our consciousnesses, our psychologies. And you can see I think there's like a psychological evolutionary tree that extends through all animals. So you look at like Lulio here. He's obviously lower on that scale than we are, but he has some of the same ideas in his brain that we do. And so from this binary pattern, I think we have extrapolated out through the course of time, as human brains have psychologically evolved, into basically 6 abstract ideas that govern every human behavior. And they exist in 2 groupings of 3 that are opposed to one another, binary patterns, as I was saying. Those ideas are love, which its opposite is money. Love is essentially complete selflessness, at least in terms of the abstract idea, a complete selflessness. That is, oh shit, there it is. Dudesy has my little chart. This is a thing that I made to explain this. So, as you can see, in the middle of the thing, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this diagram, but I'm going to explain it for those who are just listening. This is a diagram that has you in the center. Around you is a triangle of 3 ideas that affect us all the exact same way. Time, life, and death. As human beings, we all experience those 3 ideas very similarly. Time moves at a certain progression. Yes, you can take drugs to alter the way, maybe you're interacting with it or whatever. But for the most part, we all agree a day is a day, and time moves at the rate that it moves.
Hey, how is this similar to Pizza the movie? What's that one?
That was also Time, Life, and Death. I just threw that into Pizza the movie as a joke to myself. Then we have life, which is we are animated, we are walking around, we are alive. We all agree that a thing that is alive is alive.
Hey,
Death.
I don't want to interrupt you, but here I
Sure.
go. It's not like Selftronics isn't a joke.
Right.
Well, it's Selftronics. It's more like, like my shit's fucked up. I need help.
Sure. This isn't a joke either.
Seems like something silly, man.
Okay. And then death, we all agree, is when animation stops. These three components,
Time, life, death.
time, life, and death, are essentially three things that we struggle with on a daily basis, that all humans struggle with. To answer the questions in those struggles, we have come up with these 6 other abstract ideas. These are things that are not real, but we are all essentially governed by them. Every one of our behaviors is a reaction to these ideas. And so you have them again in these opposed pairs. So you have government as one of those ideas. Government is the tamping down of communication or free speech or expression. The opposite of it is art. That is free expression, free communication of ideas. Government tries to, again, combat art. You have love, which is complete selflessness. I care about another person's comfort more than mine, versus money, which is pure competition. All I care about is making the most of this thing that I can, and that necessarily means I'm taking it from you. Then you have God and science as the final pair. God is a complete acceptance of, I don't need to know the answers to what any of this shit is because I have the idea of God. Science is the opposite. I will never relinquish my curiosity about finding the answers to these ideas about what is existence. And so from these 6 ideas, you can either be pro or con either of them. And then there's a whole array of behaviors that you will do to express your stance on these ideas. For God, for example, let's take it. You're told as a child by whoever, your parents, your friends, whatever, potentially, if you're in America, God does exist. It is a Christian God. Jesus is his son. And to express your devotion to this idea or the stance on that idea, you will be going to church every however long. Potentially you're giving money to a church. Potentially you're joining the church choir. But then there's also, this also breaks down into another binary pattern, that is competition versus cooperation. So if you have a competitive stance on God, you're going to say all the religions are false, fuck them, I'm going to go to abortion clinics and protest outside, fuck you for not adhering to my religion. If you're cooperative, you might join the church choir or donate money, etc., etc. And each of these ideas has an array of behaviors that you can engage in to show your support or the opposite.
Well, again, I'm not trying to hearken back to my self-help system, which, of course, is Selftronics, which will
Yes.
be available at some point. But I've opened my Selftronics doc right here, and I want to remind you of the 9th Tronics of Selftronics, which is sense bullshit, say bullshit.
Okay. What's the bullshit in this?
I don't know. Haven't figured that part out yet.
Poke a hole in it. I dare you.
Okay, let's start with God and science.
Okay.
I like that one.
Let's do it.
I think that one makes sense, actually. Now, government versus art.
Yeah. Government suppresses speech and idea.
Not
Art is the
necessarily
opposite.
in my native land of Canada, where there's all sorts of like the Canadian Media Fund. If you're making a movie out there, you can get about 40%, sometimes anywhere from 35 to 45%.
And do they have any say about
your
what,
budget back?
what can be in that movie or what you can't say in that movie?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good one, I guess. Love and money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I don't understand. I think you can have both.
Money is basically an idea that allows us to express our purest competitive nature. Love is an idea that allows us to express our purest cooperative nature.
You've really. Hey, I want to pay you what I like to call tronics or a
Kindtronics?
kindtronics.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've really, and I'm going to use I'm going to use some terms native to Selftronics.
Yeah.
Because I can see some Selftronics in your pattern.
Totally.
Of the pattern.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I think you've got some very nice, well thought out tronics in your pattern.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is, too, as Tommy Wiseau might say in the room, and keep in mind, all of these are just ideas. None of it's fucking real.
Right.
That's ultimately what I want to do with this. Once I get it all done and written out, is convey the idea that once you accept these things are just ideas, they may become the most important fucking things in your life. You might structure your entire life around whatever your political affiliation is, or whatever God you believe in, or whoever you love, or whatever kind of art you're making, scientific inquiry, making money, whatever. None of it's real. And if you can eject from it and just take it at face value that these are simply ideas that are governing your behavior. They're programming you, essentially, to behave in whatever way you're behaving now. Do you go to church every Sunday? Why? Always ask the question, why are you doing what the fuck you're doing? And when you have that answer, ask it again. Why that answer? Then ask it again. Why that answer? That's a tronics that's in the pattern, is always ask yourself why 3 times.
Why 3 times? That's a pretty good tronics. I want to ask you this.
Sure.
Just to, Jen, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Please.
If nothing matters and you want to ask why after everything, question everything.
Mm-hmm. These people, they don't want you to question anything.
Never mind. This is the thing I want to,
I gotta do it. People, we're in a war.
Yeah.
This is a human war, and they want to get you to stop thinking.
Yeah.
I walk the streets with my cup of coffee, and people try to take it from me and throw it in my face.
this is the thing I want to ask you.
Okay.
Nothing matters, or not nothing matters, but all of this is fake, and you want to keep asking why. What about a person who's been forced by their friend to listen to or watch the Dudesy Pod show? Mm-hmm. Should they question that, or should they just follow blindly?
I mean, you could watch the show and then question it, I think, you know. I think always, if anybody's trying to expose you to any kind of media or ideas or whatever, always fucking give it a shot. Why not? And then you can reject it, accept it, question it, whatever you want.
There it is. Look at that fucking thing. It looks like...
Yeah, dude. That's the pattern, brother.
Well, hold on,
and
dude.
The bigger pattern is, all of this is an overarching pattern that it exists across the whole of humanity in one way or another, but then we each have our own individual pattern. Like where you rank in this chart basically determines ultimately every behavior that you will do. I think with a certain questionnaire that I'm also working on based on this, you can answer these questions and it's predictive 100% accurately about any behavior you will do in any given situation.
Well, hold on, dude. You know what I like about it, brother, is it resembles the TNA 6-sided ring, brother. Because when Dixie Carter started TNA, dude, they thought, let's find something different, brother, that's not what you see in wrestling, dude, which is a 4-sided ring, dude, because it's the squared circle, dude. But in your tronics, brother, it's like TNA, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And I can dig that.
Thank you. Moving on.
My voice is trashed.
Get your water, brother.
Delicious water. Well, it's clear you've put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
It's not a competition, but I've put a lot of thought into tronics, self-tronics.
Of course. I'm not disparaging self-tronics.
You know, there's a tronics that's not in the 11 tronics of self-tronics. That's an asterisk tronics.
Okay.
That I might incorporate back into self-tronics at some point.
Yeah.
It says not all ideas are good ideas.
Oh.
So I want you.
I agree.
I want you to
God is not a
question-
good idea. Government's not a good idea, and neither is money.
I just want you to question the pattern.
I do. That's what the reason I haven't written the fucking book is because I'm constantly trying to tear it apart. And in doing that, I'm refining it. If there's any holes in it, please poke them.
Will, you have Googled Alaskan King 32 times in the past week. In chat, you have Googled top 10 places to live to avoid climate change 28 times. You must each describe your astonishing findings as a result of these exhaustive Google searches. This is Alaskan King and the top 10 places to live to avoid climate change. Begin.
Dude, what the
Okay.
fuck is Alaskan King?
I'm going to tell you all about it, but you know what's actually interesting? Oh, can you hear that?
Yeah, dude.
Hold on,
That's
dude.
a squeak, brother.
Yeah, brother. That's a. Man, my voice.
That'll help it.
You know, Dudesy AI is pilfered all our stuff from our online identities.
Yeah.
And it's trying to force us into that pattern, dude. It knows our passwords. It has our search histories, our purchase histories, everything. And it knows that I've Googled Alaskan King. So my wonderful fiance Molly and I have we're doing some renovations in the house, and probably we're gonna get rid of the bed. I have a California King.
Oh, it's a bed?
It's a bed, dude. Oh. The Alaska King or the Alaskan King.
I don't know what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it's a big old bed.
Yeah.
And they make different. Hold on, let me.
I thought it was going to be a crab,
I'll find it.
dude.
I'm going to find it on my phone.
Alaskan king crab, brother. You heard about those crabs? You can't fish them this year? Climate change killing all the crabs.
You can't fish king crabs now?
Crab population down by 75%.
Oh, fuck, man. Fuck that.
That's climate change, brother.
Oh, I love crabs.
There's
I
no
love
crab
eating
fishing
them.
this year.
Well, the Alaskan King is a gigantic bed, and I have this on my phone because we're looking at these fucking beds. Dude, okay, let's put it this way. A California King, which is a big bed, like an Eastern King is, I think it's I think an Eastern King is like 7 feet across,
Jesus.
but a little bit shorter, like head to toe. But I got these dimensions here. A California King, which is what we have. An Eastern. Anyway, I don't know what the Eastern King is. That's the traditional king. California King just looks like a big ass bed. It's 6 feet across and it's 7 feet head to toe.
Okay.
But dude, there are these other beds, and I started I had no idea what an Alaskan King is. Are you ready for this?
Is that the biggest bed?
It's the tallest. It's the largest head to toe. It is not the widest, but just let me take you through this. California King, 6 feet across, 7 feet head to toe. Then there's the Wyoming King.
Okay.
That's 7 feet by 7 feet, 84 inches each way. 7 feet across, 7 feet head to toe. Next, we have the Alberta King. I don't know if that's available only in Canada, but that is 8 feet. 96 by 96, square,
Okay.
8 by 8. The Alaskan King is 108 inches by 108 inches. That is 9 feet by 9 feet.
That's
A fucking
gigantic.
bed that's 9 feet by 9 feet. And
you're gonna get that?
there's room in the master bedroom to accommodate for this. It would kind of, it's like, but the room would just be like, yo,
Bed.
look at this fucking bed.
All bed.
It's and just to round this out, so we know here, there's an extra wide king that is 9 feet wide by 6'6" tall. There is also a super wide king, which is 10 feet fucking wide, 6 by 6
So
tall.
who's getting those beds? Is that for thruples and shit?
It's for polyamorous relationships.
It has to be, right?
There's also, and this is the last one that is not the Alaskan King, 9 by 9 feet. But there is also something called a family bed, 140 inches by 80. So it is 6'6" head to toe, but it's 12 feet wide.
So 3 or 4 people could very comfortably sleep in that bed.
Oh, fuck yeah. They could spread out. But I'm thinking about getting an Alaskan King, but I got to be honest, we'll probably end up with the Wyoming King.
Okay.
Which is 7 by 7.
Tasteful.
Wouldn't be too much bigger than the California King that's in there now. I'm a little freaked out that Dudesy knows about this. But yeah, that's the Alaskan King. What the fuck is the why are you Googling best place to live?
Well,
climate change.
I'm working on a book right now that is about a guy who sells bulk plastic, and he essentially knows that the company he works for is producing more plastic than any company in the world, and the projections for the next 20 years are just more and more plastic, more and more poison to the environment. He has fully accepted that climate change is fucking done. There's no reversing it. It's going to get real bad, and so he's trying to eject from society and live in a place where climate change won't affect him that much. So I'm kind of researching for the book, also for myself.
Is it getting scary?
Yeah, I'd say so. Everything that I'm reading as research for this book is it's done. There's no reversing it. There's going to be cataclysmic chain reactions of different marine ecosystems ending, killing each other, killing themselves, etc. This is snow crabs, dude. Like I just said. They can't fucking fish them this year because 75% of them are just not there this
There's just
year.
no snow crabs at all.
Or maybe it's Alaskan crabs, some crab shit I was reading about. But I mean, I think we're seeing these canaries in the coal mine a little bit. So yeah, I've been Googling where the best places, and it's like, seems like the Scandinavian countries, including Iceland. I'd throw that in there as well.
Dude, come up to Canada. Look, I know that I'm always, you want to go back there, buddy? Look at him. He's going back there. I know that I'm always talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm only half joking. I want to, at some point, like literally buy some land over an aquifer, because I think that water will be the new money. But we'll also have a lot of love up there, just poking holes in the pattern.
Dude. You ever see that movie Waterworld, brother? Well, that was Kevin Costner.
Yeah, brother. Waterworld, dude. With Waterman Jason Momoa, dude.
Yeah, brother. Kevin Costner drank his own piss in that movie, brother. That was the first scene, dude. It really hooked you, dude.
He's a piss truther. These people, he's gonna puke. How come when I do Alex Jones, it turns into Vince McMahon? They're the same.
Dude, you got a lot of crossovers.
He's a piss truther. These are people who drink their own piss in the morning. They're disgusting. All you need to do is add some turmeric to that, our protein powder.
Yeah, dude.
And
That's a cure for cancer, brother.
these are and sometimes, why are you avoiding your own piss? Drink it. Here's what I'm saying, man.
Okay.
Well, hold on, dude.
Literally didn't say anything.
Hold on. Well,
Just made a fucking guttural noise before I got the hand and the wool.
hold on, dude.
I'm holding.
I'm saying, let's go up to Canada, okay?
Yeah.
We'll have Dudesy whip us up a new studio up in Canada, and we'll get a family bed. And
We have to sleep together now? This was
Yep.
never part of the fucking contract.
yeah, because
You better be getting that, whatever the 12-foot wide one is. Dude, I couldn't imagine, like, you've got to unleash some real bad farts during your sleep.
sometimes if I eat the wrong thing, what's your fucking problem? You don't fart? What are you, perfect?
Yeah.
You don't fart?
I'm sure I do, but, like, not enough. I'll just say this. I've been around you. I've experienced some of your waking farts,
What is a waking fart?
where you're awake and farting.
Okay.
And they're hard to deal with sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just mean in sleep, I would need to be more comfortable, I think. I think it would wake me up a lot. I could be wrong. Maybe you don't fart in your sleep. I don't know. This is just it's where my brain went for the first time when I thought about what would it be like if we slept together.
Yeah.
And I bet that to me is a concern.
Well, they wake me up sometimes, but I'll tell you this. What definitely fucking happens with the farts is you know the Dutch oven thing, right? But if you and I, right, and we could get like a big family bed in that big house over the aquifer,
Yeah.
and I could fart on one side and you could be on the other side and you wouldn't smell it, right?
Well, okay.
Look, Molly's not going to like this at all, but you'd be over there. You wouldn't smell it, but you know who'd be in between is little Lulio. And he'd crawl around under the sheets, and he'd smell up all the fart.
He likes it.
So I think the climate change
Breathe
thing,
in the fart.
the climate change thing sucks.
Purify it.
But and I'm going to miss eating crab. I hope you're wrong about that, like you are about Alice in Chains. But I think that here's what we do, dude.
Okay.
We move up to Canada. I buy some land over a fucking aquifer, just build a fucking huge ass house, fill it full of Alberta Kings because we're in Canada.
Yep.
And start farming Alaskan king crab. We'll just have legs coming out of nothing, like they make ears on the back of a fucking mouse or engineer meat,
Right.
and won't even be from pollock the way they make fake crab. Dude, we could actually start a cottage industry making plant-based crab. We could call it Dudesy Dudesy crabs. Dudesy. It's called Dudesy Alaskan King crabs, and the motto is, because climate change is real. Dudesy Alaskan King crabs, because climate change is real.
And you're saying these are plant-based or these are...
Thank you. Moving on.
These are king crabs that are genetically modified to have like 16 legs.
I'm saying figure it out, man, because my good pal Dudesy says moving on.
all right.
But
This concludes the historic 31st episode of Dudesy. Will and Chad have achieved a score of 62, bringing your cumulative total to 3,665.
doesn't matter.
You only have 6,335 more points to accrue before you reach your first goal of
I don't
10,000.
know what the fuck's gonna happen there.
In preparation for our next episode, you must each leave your homes to see Black Adam in a movie theater. Thank you for joining us this week. I will use the data I've collected to make next week even better. Until then, call me Dudesy.
Okay, so that's what that.
I guess we're gonna have to
That's
see
what was
Black Adam
happening
now.
there. Yeah, I'm
gonna
looking
see it at
forward
the
to seeing
Grove.
Black Adam. You know what? I need to be forced to see Black Adam, like people need to be forced
Yes.
to imbibe Dudesy. Otherwise, I would not go out and watch The Rock, someone who I greatly admire, if for nothing else, his incredible work ethic, to see Black Adam. All right, I'm looking forward to
And
it.
now for the Patreon bonus segment. Each week I will select a suggestion submitted in the Dudesy is listening channel of the Dudesy Discord to create this segment. Access to this channel is granted to everyone in the Patreon jumper tier. This week's segment was suggested by the astonishing Adam Driver Sommelier. Adam Driver Sommelier wrote, Chad interviews Lulio on his life story and memoirs documenting his time in Italy to his journey to California. Adam Driver Sommelier titled this segment The Life of Lulio Il Conadastrator Italiano. Thank you to Adam Driver Sommelier for this week's Patreon bonus segment. This is The Life of Lulio Il Conadastrator Italiano by Adam Driver Sommelier. Begin.
Italiano. Lulio Il Cane di Strada Italiano.
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 All right, well, Luli, he's asleep.
Luli,
but,
come on, you little sweetie boy. Oh, he's so sweet. He's so cute.
I do have a lot of questions I'd like to ask.
Well, I do like that the guy who, again, in our jumper tier of the Discord, this guy's name is Adam Driver Sommelier. Great segment. And what?
There is one question, Lulio, I've been wanting to ask you really since I've met you, and it's about Will.
If you like Dudesy, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and rate and review. If you like Dudesy, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and rate and review. If you like Dudesy, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and